the Psychic News Network. I don't like the light to show. How are you? Let's wait a moment for people to show up. I feel a little bit far away. Let me know how you're doing as soon as you arrive. Happy almost spring. I mean, almost feeling like spring. What's up? How was your day? That was probably kind of loud. Howdy, howdy. This is my 4th video today. I'm working it. Stop the World Electrostorm wants to get off. You know, we're going to look at why are we here? What is the cosmic message? We're going to do that. We're going to look. I heard New York City had an amazing turnout. Amazing turnout on Saturday. So I was just listening to Mary Trump's show a little bit, and she made mention that the next big giant rally is on the 19th, which is the week after next, which is actually Easter weekend. Yeah. So there's another rally, 50501, 5051. I'm going to do my best to get my songs to the Dropkick Murphys and see if they'll play my songs. So I'm going to send a good vibe. I need to get those songs out there. They were written for these times. We've got to come together, and we won't be backing down. Thank you to those of you who attended church yesterday. Please share if you can. There's always a really important, empowering message. And Darren saying, beam me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life in the USA. But there is. But I like that joke. That's one of my faves. Send in positive vibes. Good, you're good. Good. Okay. What was the meeting with Netanyahu? Yeah. Trumpy is speaking gibberish lately, and I did cover that in my little pop-up. Rose says present and accounted for. I did mention that on my little pop-up, so I read on that a little bit earlier because there's so much news that I'm doing pop-ups now. And what it looks like is it's so glaringly obvious that he's not making sense when he speaks, and that the MAGA Republicans know that. And I'm trying to remember what I got about it. You have to go back and watch the pop-up. It's hard for me to remember when I'm doing psychic readings because I'm, like what I said. That's why I go back and I watch my videos to see what I said in terms of predictions. It's a different part of the brain. Okay, there was a rally in Kent. In this country, the only thing easier to buy than a gun is a GOP candidate. Yeah, that's true. Not really sure where to start today. Last night I did a pop-up and I read on Mr. Garcia, who's supposed to be, I mean, in a normal, sane world where there's compassion and humanism, a humanitarian spirit, Garcia should be on his way home. And I think that was held up. So let's just kind of get level-headed about what we're dealing with. And we're going to read on this too. The innocent legal people can be just hauled off a college campus or hauled off their job or pulled over and arrested and sent, put on a plane and sent to a foreign country. I guess he was from El Salvador. He is from El Salvador. I mean, we really have to be level-headed about this. Look at what we're doing. As as the United States. He delayed the requirement that Garcia has to be returned to the States by tonight so that he could review the case. We're going to look at that. I did read on it, and I saw Garcia being, like, coming back. So I'll read on it again. The deadline that was midnight tonight. Now, why he has to review a case is what I'm concerned about. The guy didn't commit a crime. He was here legally, and he had legal protection from being removed from this country. Des Roberts, we can start with that. But for that, I need the nefarious cards now, don't I? Because this is quite evil. This is quite evil. Because that's the process. The SCOTUS has to review the details. I don't know. I'm not really buying that. They shouldn't delay it. Right, Warren? Am I right about that? I think I actually put the... This is a problem lately. Because I move things. We'll read these other cards. Sometimes the guides don't want me to read the nefarious cards because they're a little too dark, and everything we're reading on is pretty dark. I've come to the conclusion that YouTube has shadow blocked me because I say things that are that might influence the way that you vote. And let me just be frank with what's going on. We could use a Thomas joke. Just personally with me on YouTube, I've tried everything and I'll keep trying things, but I'm doing more videos because nobody's booking readings. And that's okay. That's not to make you feel guilty, but I'm listed in the Best American Psychics directory. And I do these videos all the time. And I also I'm having a hard time believing that nobody wants a reading. So I'm upping the number of videos that I do because of this capping off that I have on YouTube and monetizing all of them except for Church of Spirituality. So yeah, so people are being blocked and people don't get notifications that I'm on. Warren, you're so sweet. The Best American Psychics should just have one psychic. There's a lot of good psychics out there. But that, I had to pass some tests to get there. So, do you get many readings? No, it's a slow season in Salem. I do not. No, on Saturday, like I've had one or two. So, and I want to just kind of tie this to mainstream media. And thank you for hitting the thumbs up, and thank you all for being so loyal. I mean, we're like a little family here, which I love. But I have to figure out how to pay my bills, because I know everyone's going to be going through this with all the stress in the air. And that's why I'm doing more videos. And yes, we're all going to focus on getting him out of office. And nobody gets notified, so maybe if you make sure you hit the notification bell, and I'll get on with the reading, but I just need to do some housekeeping. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Most people tell me that forget that I'm on or whatever, that they have the notification bell on, but it doesn't work. Okay? Yeah, so I'm not going to stop. I'm just saying I'm adding more videos to what I do because I need to monetize them, because I don't have a 401k. All right? I don't have anybody supporting me. Nobody's funding me. I do this because I love this work and I love all of you. And it's just, I can't even tell you. There are no words to describe how after 5-6 years of doing this, to have diminishing visibility, how that feels. You still have a hard time finding me even though you get the notification bell. Yeah, so that doesn't even make any sense, except I'm being blocked. So I'm going to tie this to mainstream media. The reason that we are where we are, and I'm just going to say that it's a higher percentage than we might think. My guesstimate is the reason that we're finding ourselves going down the road of authoritarianism and fascism right now. The reason that we find ourselves where we are, rather than being our identity, which is a country that stands for freedom and democracy, and has been known for being a hero in many ways, not always, but you know, America has been an amazing, amazing country. And mainstream media got all oligarchy-like, and they decided that they could make more money if they focused on the shiny object, which, believe it or not, the shiny object became Trump. And here's why the shiny object became Trump. Here's why. Because he's so outrageous. And people need outrageous. People, you know, people need, like, to go to horror movies or to see lots of murder and lots of, I mean, I've talked before about how I can't watch violence on TV. If I go visit my mom, I turn it right off and I turn on like Rick Steves or a nature show. There's a great one about hummingbirds out there, by the way. Fascinating creatures. But the mainstream media had to go for the shiny object, and the CEOs of the conglomerates, the media, decided to go for the sensationalism. That we had to go for the sensationalism, for what people like couldn't wait to see what happens in the next episode of Trump. So we never got to hear about what Joe Biden was doing. I blame 80% of why we are where we are on the mainstream media. Did I ever watch camels eat cactus? That's funny. That's almost like a dad joke. Yes, I mean, there's a documentary on YouTube. I don't even know what the channel name is, but it's like about hummingbirds, and it was fascinating. We found it riveting for like over an hour. I'm gonna pull 3 cards on Dumpy right now. Hit the thumbs up. When we have 200 thumbs up, we'll do a group hug. Why is poker banned from playing in jungles? Too many cheetahs. Here we go. See, now I think that more people would love this channel. I think it's the only one where we do group hugs. Am I right? 3 cards on Dumpy, and since I don't know where the nefarious cards are, because my cards have legs, my decks have legs, and they just walk away, we're going to read these cards. They'll turn up. I was kind of playing with them the other day. He's got lots of tricks up his sleeve. The 4 of Cups is, there is something that he's not really seeing, though. There is something that's kind of out of his line of sight. The other thing I wanted to read on tonight is this, and remind me, I don't read on it right away. I want to know if the Biden administration and the DOJ at the time that administration was there, if they had planned on having justice happen and then something went wrong. So I'm reading on Dumpy, and here's the Emperor, and he's got a lot up his sleeve. He's got that golf tournament with the Saudis. It wasn't about golf. I'll just put it that way. And the 9 of Pentacles is all the information about all the nefarious connections that he's connected with. And the 4 of Cups says there's something that he's not able to see going on behind the scenes, on the sidelines, and it has to do with what's going to happen to him, right? It has to do with what's going to happen to him. So, I think somebody meant to put RFK Jr. up there. There's a question. He will flee to his Saudis. I don't see Dumpy living in another country because I'm not sure he could handle it. His health is really failing. Quid pro quo, yeah. His health is really failing. I'm going to now look at. I'm going to look at whether the Biden administration had a plan for justice that didn't happen because something interfered. I'm going to look at that. Was there something planned to exert justice over the orange buffoon? Was there something planned that wasn't able to go through? He's sick. Yeah, he's very, yeah. Dumpy is very, very sick. And if you saw, I mean, I don't want to bore you with looking for pictures, but I probably will show you a picture that you may have seen of him at his golf club. Okay, the question is, did the Biden administration, the people around the administration, have a plan to arrest Dumpy that fell through? At the time, yes. At the time, yes. The Princess of Pentacles and the Prince of Pentacles, they felt like they didn't have enough, and they didn't have enough time. Let's ask this. Is there an alternative plan in place? No. Because here's the thing. The thing that's really so difficult is to see how lawless he is. And we can't even probably list all the crimes he's committed, especially against the United States of America. And nothing has happened. So I really want to kind of really dig into that. Yeah, Trump looked terrible in those pictures from Doral. I really, bear with me. I want to do some deep dives tonight into some really big, big questions. I'm feeling like I just need to know. Oh, but while you're here, I'm offering $100 off spiritual life coaching sessions. I just wanted to show you. Well, there's somebody at the rally in Boston. Don't say nothing will happen. That discourages people. Thank you. It's actually, I screenshotted it on my iPad. But hang on. Bear with me. I'm asking why the Biden administration didn't make their move. And it looks like they didn't feel the case was, that they had it. At the time, they knew that Dumpy stole the seat. At the time, they knew that Elon and Putin and Dumpy had rigged the election. But at the time of the quote-unquote inauguration, they weren't able to pull it off. And Mike, we have a policy here that we don't say things that are discouraging. And I'm not saying that to yell at you. I'm saying that because we have to keep the vibration up because too many people aren't. Thank you. I appreciate you understanding that. So you can follow it up with a hopeful thought. We would appreciate it. And I'm sorry I'm so strict about that, but I kind of feel like I have to be. They didn't have enough at the time to do it. Okay. What was the plan to do that during the inauguration? Yes, it was. It was. That's a strong yes. I'm not giving up on this country. Good Lord, look at what this country has been through. Look at what this country has been through. The mere fact that we became the United States of America is a miracle. And on that note, I do want to show you something. I want to show you that I did a video from Salem yesterday. And remember I told you about the coffee house? Meeting place of patriots before the American Revolution in 1698. Our country should not, that's a building that it was a meeting house for the revolutionaries. The London Coffee House, circa 1698. Meeting place of patriots before the American Revolution. There's no way that the United States of America in its earliest days should have beat the Brits. No way. It just defied logic. Read the dad joke. So what we're going to read on next, I'm going to ask the pendulum. And we're just being really, really straight up with this tonight. We're being straight up with this. And do check out that video from Salem yesterday. It was very powerful. Very powerful. Okay. I'm not singling anybody out for saying negative things in the chat. It's just a general rule. And we know your name, but we don't know you personally, so don't worry about it. How do I ask this? Is there anything in place in terms of justice to save our American democracy? I have yes. Okay? So I'm asking, Rita has hope. Yeah, and that's a strong yes. What I'm asking is there anything in place currently that will save, like legally, like according to the laws, that will save our democracy? And I have a very strong yes. This is almost bouncing out of my hand. I just showed you the meeting house of the patriots before the American Revolution happened. I think they jumped out of the phone. Jumped out of the picture. That's funny. Maybe I attracted some of their spirits. Wow. Oh my gosh. This is... Did you see that? I'm not doing that. The question was, do we have enough justice in place to save our democracy? Rose got a strong yes too on her pendulum. The American people will not accept what's going on. That's true. The thing... Yeah, Michael had a great time at the protest. The thing that we have to not do, and I went for a long walk earlier. The rain finally let up. It's been cold and just disgusting, right, Cheryl? Cheryl's in Maine. It's just been gross out. Like, you're just like, I'm not going out there. But I went out for a walk anyway. And I was really asking my guides, what's going on? And I really got this. I'm going to tell you what I got. Yeah, we'll talk about the meditations, Michael. I got that what's blocking the American people's psyches and creating power, what's blocking us from having things go like in a way that makes sense to saving democracy, is that people are believing the worst case scenario. And isn't that what we do? Don't we all catastrophize? So we have to shift away from our natural tendency to think worst case scenario because it's blocking the good. That's straight from the guides. And it's I don't even want to say it's advice, it's a command. I'm going to pull 3 cards about the aftermath. I'm going to switch decks because I like this deck. Maybe the nefarious cards will turn up. I might have brought them on. I think I found them. Nope. Did not. My guides hide cards from me. All right. 3 cards. Read the dad joke. I'm sure it's really funny, but I'm trying to read the cards. Are the American people going to stop catastrophizing? Because it really is delaying our good. It's delaying the good. I mean, it was a very strong message. I know what a very strong message is. It was a very strong message. And I'm also wondering, because I see a certain particular reality, right? And I feel like there's something going on in the holographic universe that we're in that we jump timelines or something. And it's too much down the rabbit hole to talk about that here. But I'm in the reality where we save our democracy. Are you? I'm in that reality. There are alternative realities. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about the aftermath of the protests. And I think can't wait for this timeline to end. We have to get out of the timeline of that America turns fascist. We have to do that. Yeah. You tell people not to worry. Telling people not to worry is kind of that doesn't really work. To just encourage people to notice when they're worrying. This is what I've found, and even personally, to notice when you're worrying and to go and to reboot. Right? Over 5 million people came out to say the same thing? Yes. So look at the footage of all the crowds in all the cities. And it wasn't just major cities, it was little minor cities too. And I know that on Saturday, Salem was dead. So that meant that people were in Boston. There were over 100,000 people in Boston. That little rally that I went to on a Tuesday several weeks before expanded to over 100,000 people. Remember, I live streamed that first rally, 50-51. It was on a Tuesday. Okay, so what this is telling me, I'm asking the aftermath of that rally. What happens next? It did disrupt things. It did disrupt things. Don't ever forget he was Mussolini in his past life. You see how he does this, like Benito used to do. He goes, he juts his chin out. That's a Mussolini thing. All right, it did. So the aftermath of the protests, yes, they did kind of shake things up. I think he was shaken up. Yes. Thank you for your support. The Two of Swords is, okay, a lot of the American people, because they're catastrophizing, thinking worst case scenario, don't know what to do next. The Boston rally is all over social media. Yeah, so I kind of felt like I could take a pass on it because I'm doing so much. I'll go to the next one. And the world noticed. And that's what was really, really important. The world noticed, and we actually, even though we don't hear about it in the news, don't think that Canadians aren't supporting us out there rallying. And there are people in other countries that were also having protest rallies too. So it was good. And I had said this a few weeks ago that the world needed to see when in the face of all that Dumpy was doing, including getting in that seat illegitimately and all his connections to Putin, and how about not giving tariffs to the penguins in, was it McDonald Island or something? Giving tariffs to the penguins, but not to Russia. Like, it's and the rest of the world, you know, prior to this, was really wondering, does America just want this? Because there's no people out there protesting. So it was good. The aftermath of the protests is it definitely shook Dumpy up. Even though we feel like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen from here, the world noticed. And that's good. The world knows it's not us, it's him. Yes. I just ordered a t-shirt that I just realized was made in Canada, off of eBay, I think. And it said something about, hey, Canada, we hate him too. Have you seen that one? Oh, the marches in your small town are meeting every Thursday of the month. Oh, good, you're good. Good. Yogi Bear is saying the penguins shot Dumpy the middle finger. Whoa, Oh boy, okay. The meeting with Netanyahu. The poor penguins, I know. The poor penguins. Hang on a second. It drives me a little bananas when my guides hide my cards from me. That's 2 decks that they've hidden. Maine has a lot of Canadian products. Canadians are being told don't travel to the U.S. Let's hope that this doesn't last. 3 cards about that meeting with Netanyahu. You see why I'm looking for the nefarious cards. Give it up. Everything is as it should be in the moment. I think that the universe wants us to show the universe what we're made of. That's what I think. The meeting with Netanyahu. Well, we have the fool. Dumpy made no sense during that meeting with Netanyahu. And they have a secret. I don't want to say too much about this, but the 2 words human trafficking keep coming to my mind. That's all I'm going to say. And the Queen of Cups, somebody knows what Netanyahu and Dumpy are up to. It's a big secret. They're both fools. And it's a big secret. Yeah, the U.S. and the world will have a big party when we get our democracy back. His dementia is definitely showing. And this is a Queen of Cups. I really feel like somebody's watching and knows a lot more, and it feels like a female. And it feels like I keep on getting female judges keep coming up. Yeah. Mostly females in investigative agencies. There's something underground that knows everything. I don't know how to describe it, but think about the fact that, and keep your fingers crossed and keep praying for protection, that in the face of us being where we are, exceedingly vulnerable, by some miracle we're okay. We prayed for safety for all the protests on Saturday. We stopped and we intended during Off the Ledge, and there was no violence. Did you say 5 million people? There's something underground that's monitoring. I just really feel like there's some intelligence underground that no, I mean, it's so strong. It's such a strong feeling. So the High Priestess says that there's something secret, and it's underground. I'm going to ask this: am I picking up on any like underground U.S. intelligence agencies? I have a yes. They might know about human trafficking. Right? I mean, I don't think that Biden just left us out in the lurch. I really don't. I'm right about that. Oh, hello. Welcome. We love having new people because I'm kind of like hidden. And now I'm doing about 4 videos a day. So stick with us and subscribe. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. There are intelligence agencies that are following everything that's going on. Back to Epstein. I was just thinking about that. I need to read the Thomas joke. Might be anonymous. I didn't even think of that. What do you call a child psychic who escaped from detention? A small medium at large. Thank you for alerting me. I had to see that one. That was a good one. Thomas, that's classic. That's great. A medium at large. What I did in Salem yesterday was I had read, in case you didn't catch it, I have a calendar, and it talks about all the witches that were persecuted. And on yesterday's date, it said that after 329 years, the last executed, accused woman that was accused of witchcraft was finally exonerated after 329 years. Back in 2022. So that was on the calendar, and somehow I just felt like I had to go and do a little ritual next to the cemetery where the magistrates that accused them were buried, and also there's a memorial little area for the accused witches that were executed. And I lit a candle, and I asked people to join me for a moment of just silent meditation about all the people that are being persecuted that are innocent. So, and there was this bird, there was this robin that was chirping away. You have to watch the video. It's from yesterday. There's a granite slab saying something about human rights on it, on the thumbnail. And there was this robin that was singing and singing and singing, and it was like I was communicating with. It was chirping. I noticed this afterwards. It was chirping, and then I was like saying something like I was channeling. Witches are helpers and healers, yeah. And the thing about Salem that I want to say is there's an energy in Salem that is, I would compare it to, similar to how Germany after the Holocaust realized that they couldn't tolerate intolerance. And Salem has that too. They can't tolerate intolerance. So it's the most like open-minded, diverse, everybody's welcome here. Yeah, the bird was certainly being vocal, wasn't it? So I kind of felt divinely guided. And then I happened to meet some people at a shop that I had been looking for, and there it was, and made some great connections. So follow your intuition. I just want to talk to you about yesterday, all the synchronicity. But let me read something before I tell you more. Let's pull 3 cards about whether the MAGA Republicans are gonna shift lanes due to the tariffs. When I read on it earlier, I saw a continuation of the gaslighting. But I don't think that's going to continue for too much longer. Because face it, their personal economies are going to crash too. So are they going to do something to stop with? It's challenging for them. It is. It's challenging. Now let me tell you what I get from this. Because I'm asking if the MAGA Republicans are going to change lanes a little bit, head in that direction of sanity due to these tariffs, because it's bad for everybody, including them. And the 5 of Wands says it's going to get too challenging. And look, those people, they're holding protest signs. Perfect. As the truth is becoming more and more evident, I couldn't even believe that I saw Rand Paul taking the side of being on the democracy side of things. I really flipped my lid on that one. At least, even if it's for their own, fear of losing their own money, so what? Whatever it takes. Yes, I did see Adam Schiff's shadow hearing this afternoon. I got to catch some of that. That was good. We really do have to just oust him. We have to oust, not Adam Schiff. We have to oust the orange buffoon. Okay, so the Knight of Wands. I'm asking if the GOP, the MAGA Republicans, will start changing lanes. And I am getting, after a lot of just trying the gaslighting thing, which isn't going to work, the Knight of Wands, one and then another are going to start changing their message because of these tariffs. And it looks like it's gonna gain steam. It's gonna catch on. They lost today big time. Oh yeah. We need 6 more thumbs up and we'll do a group hug. So So we're not going to be catastrophizing anymore because we're going to realize that what we think about has creative power. And if we want to save our democracy, we've got to visualize our democracy being saved. All right, we have time. We have 20 minutes. Oh, we just had 2:01. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's do a group hug. After a dad joke, my wife has been reading a lot of romance horrors recently, so I asked her why does Dracula always bite people in the neck. She told me it's because he's a neck romancer. I have to think about that one. Group hug! What do we want to hug about? Okay, let's do this, because I won't shut up about it. Let's do a group hug in which we imagine the American people stop catastrophizing and they take all that fear energy and they activate with it. Turn the fear into activism. And we're going to hold in our group hug energy for all the Democrats that are working so hard to save our democracy. And for all the people that are suffering, and for Garcia who needs to come back. Let's just use our energy to make that happen, and he comes back and the other innocent people get brought back. Okay? 1, 2, 3. People stop catastrophizing and activate instead. The deportees come back, starting with Garcia. And all the people that are afraid, we're holding you. And all the people that are on the edge and desperate, we're holding you. All right, what a powerful hug. Oh my gosh. Really powerful hug. Love is the answer. When you pull yourself away from all the drama, when you pull yourself away from all the really frightening news and you just go out in the world, you probably do notice that people are beautiful. I do. Hey, Kalani, haven't seen you in a while. I do. I notice. Oh, your wife said, oh, good. Say hello to your wife for us. You felt that hug. That was a big hug. The other thing I was thinking about when I was walking is that this is the thing. Did you guys ever see the first War of the Worlds? Everyone felt that hug. The black and white movie, I guess it was made in the 50s, War of the Worlds. After the aliens come down. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, or am I just like talking to the wall? The first War of the Worlds. The first one, the black and white one. You like that movie? Okay, somebody's listening. After the aliens destroyed the planet, almost obliterated the whole planet, the people went to the church. They went to church and they prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed that the aliens would go away. Did I go dancing Friday night? I breezed through. There wasn't room to dance, actually. The aliens have destroyed everything in War of the Worlds. I didn't see the second one. The first one was good enough for me, the black and white one. After all the really terrible devastation, the people went into church and they prayed. You got to see the original one. And so what I was really reflecting on was, wow, when all else fails, we have to go to our faith, whatever we have faith in. Yeah, so Orson Welles one, that one. But they made a movie out of it in the 50s. Yeah, they had a color version of that one. What am I reading on? I'm sorry, this is a Gabby show. We all know that. I'm going to pull 3 cards on Kamala Harris. Yeah, I'm talking about them. They made it into a movie. Warren, come on, try to keep up. Okay. You weed in the garden today. That's good therapy. You weeded the garden today. At least that's something you can root out. Yeah, you can imagine. MAGA weed, MAGA weed, MAGA weed. With every dandelion you pull up, MAGA weed, MAGA. Kamala. I have the World. I have the Knight of Cups. Wow, interesting. There's a big change coming, people. There's a big change coming. Yes, there is a big change coming. We just have to hang on. You know when you get on that carnival ride and you got to buckle yourself in and hang on? And sometimes you feel a little nauseous? I'm reading on Kamala. There's a big change coming because didn't I just get the tower in the world before? I'll have to, on replay, I'll have to see what that was. The world? Remember, I just got these two cards before. The Tower in the World and the Knight of Cups. You know, it occurred to me yesterday that if Kamala Harris had won, I'm not saying that we're better off. It occurred to me yesterday that if Kamala Harris had won, where we would be right now is fighting with MAGA. Yeah. Did I shuffle? Of course I shuffled. You're joking, right? Of course I shuffled. I always shuffle. The reason Wildflower Wind was asking if I went dancing was because Friday night there was a tribute band for Led Zeppelin up the road here. And I was talking about going dancing. But the funny thing was it's an all-female tribute band to Led Zeppelin. And it was 80% men in the audience. I just stayed for a couple songs and then I left. We're not really fighting with MAGA anymore. I mean, that's what I was just reflecting on. Other timeline, Kamala won. We'd still be where we were with Biden the whole time. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm just observing that we'd be with, oh, she cheated, and you know what I mean? So this is a long way. This is a long way around to saving our democracy. Let's read on. I forgot about my B cards. Let's read the B cards. Actually, let's do this. Give me a character that you want me to read on. There's so much I could read on. Yeah, this is the long way around. This is absolutely the long way around. But think about it. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. If Kamala had come out, I already read on Cory Booker, and it looked like he was going to do really great, and that what he did, those 25 hours was really, he really anchored the light, and he played a big role in the good that's going to come to be. But if you want me to read on somebody in particular, formulate it into a question. Okay, Roberts in the Supreme Court. Okay, what's the question? Yeah, what Cory Booker did was hugely impactful. Hugely impactful. Rose, I was looking for begonia seeds today. I'm gonna work on my gardening this spring. Yeah, right? Barbara Armstrong? Can you imagine? Will the Supreme Court survive Trump? Just imagine with me for a second that Kamala was declared the winner. We would right now be, I mean, we probably have an opportunity in the present time to knock MAGA out for good forever and ever. Amen. We just got to get him out of there ASAP. But if Kamala had been declared the winner, then we would have 8 more years of the MAGAs just going at it. What was the past life of JD? I got to read on the Supreme Court first. The past life of JD Vance, he was a woman. Okay, but I actually promised to read on the Supreme Court, so let me do that. Will the Supreme Court choose the Constitution? That's more of a pendulum card. Will the Supreme Court choose to adhere to the Constitution like they swore an oath to do? Will they? I have a yes on that. I have a yes on that. Dems always clean up the MAGA mess, that's for sure. And I'm going to pull 3 cards on the Supreme Court in terms of whether they're going to continue. Well, I just kind of answered it. What changes will we see? Read Thomas's dad joke. It will lift you up. Yeah, right, Sandra? If Kamala had won, we'd be right back where we were when Biden won. It was like, we need to knock this crap out for good. And we're going to have to all be extremely brave. Look at the Ukrainians. Find your inner Ukrainian. Thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Love you so much, more than you know. 5 of Pentacles. Okay, the Supreme Court has lost a lot of credibility, but I think as soon as they see that they're at risk, that the Supreme Court is actually at risk, I think they're going to start buckling down. Because they don't want to lose their job. Because, I mean, let's face it, this criminal administration looks at a law and says, oh, that's there for me to defy. And if you think that Dumpy is upset about what's happening about the tariffs, he is upset about all the people coming out and rallying. He is upset about that. But if you think that Dumpy is upset that people are upset about the tariffs, think again. Because I have never once, and I've talked about it, never once have I felt like he has any remorse whatsoever about these tariffs. None. 0 zip. Because who's GWB? I'm trying to focus. You just write the name out. He gets pleasure out of people being in pain. It's called sadism. Yeah, who's GWB? I mean, I can read on it, but I don't know who you mean. Okay, so I think the American people, I think our democracy needs a reboot, and we need a Supreme Court that works. I mean, I'm just stating the obvious, right? We need a Supreme Court that upholds the Constitution. We need for an oath being taken to have meaning. All the rot needs to be exposed, exactly. And we need to give whoever's going to occupy that office to have a psychological workup. Right? Whatever happened to Matt Gaetz, who cares, right, Marge? George W. spoke. He gave a speech. I don't even believe that. Does the Supreme Court realize that under Trump they are losing their power? That's what I'm getting. The Tea Party started it all. Yeah, I know. They take the great American things and they ruin them. But as far as the Supreme Court goes, it looks like they're going to wise up to the fact that this threatens, that this fascism threatens them. And then I feel like they're going to step up and they're going to, not in a real blatant way, but, bit by bit. The 5 of Pentacles is they're going to see how much they'll lose if they keep going along with Dumpy. And they're not that blatant about it. They're not that obvious about it. But it's kind of like the stay on, just bring the guy back from the El Salvadoran concentration camp. He has a wife and a 5-year-old son that was ripped away from. I can't even think about it. I replaced my rooster with a duck. Now I wake up at the quack of dawn. Oh my goodness, it's 54 minutes already and I have tea leaves. Let's read some tea leaves. So, I'm just going to tell you a little story about synchronicity. I decided I needed to go to Salem yesterday, and I just told you about my little field trip. And but when I was on the way there, I stopped to get gas here in my town, and the gas station I went to was kind of out of order. So then I went to the next town. I'm telling you this because pay attention to synchronicity. If we just clear our minds, we can be guided. And I was pumping gas at a gas station in the next town that I have to drive through to go to Salem, and there's a cinema across the street, and the sign was kind of a slideshow sign about the upcoming shows. And I see two people that I knew in Nashville are going to be featured at this cinema. And I don't know if you guys know the Wooten brothers, Wooten, amazing musicians. I was really good friends with one of the brothers. They're going to be here, and then there's a guy named Will Henry who worked at a store in Nashville called Magical Journey that I also worked at in the 90s. And he's on that show Ancient Aliens. And then I see that Ancient Aliens is going to be there. Like, I guess these guys are going to show up and talk about aliens. So there's 2 shows this week that I'll probably be attending. But the synchronicity of that was that I didn't even know that was going on. But I went to this gas station and I'm standing there pumping my gas going, I know him. Wooten. Look up the Wooten brothers. Victor Wooten was they're like otherworldly musicians. They're incredible. Have you heard of Ancient Aliens? Yeah, William Henry. I've seen him on TV and I'm like, I know that guy. He was always very deep. Okay. Let's pull 3 cards for the community. I always love hanging out. It's like you're in my living room. You know the Wooten brothers? Yeah, amazing. And Victor wrote a book called The Music Lesson that's really, really good. I think he's had some health problems, but these people are they're channeling music into their instruments, and they talk about a different timeline. I used to have lots of conversations with Reggie about metaphysical rabbit hole things. 3 cards for the community. So follow your intuition, because you never know where it's going to lead. Don't question it too much. Queen of Pentacles, Prince of Wands, 9 of Pentacles. We're going to see, along with the bad, we're going to see a lot of good over the next couple of days. The hour does go by so fast. Now I'm trying to talk even faster. You're a big fan of Ancient Aliens, so you know who I mean, William Henry. 9 of Pentacles, Prince of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. We're actually going to see some good movement towards for our democracy. You know Victor Wooten. You know who I mean, right? And that's Thursday night this week. And I know we have our meditation on Thursday night, but it might start at 7 and end early. Things are going to change for the good soon. I do see that. So before I read the tea leaves, I want to tell you an idea that I have, because I really feel like we need a concentrated group of people to make a commitment. And I'll figure out how I'm going to do this, but I want to make one special, like a 10-minute guided meditation where we oust this fascist regime. Victor Wooten can walk up to a wall while playing bass. Yeah. You guys know who he is. That's cool. They pull their guitars all these different ways and play them. It's like otherworldly. So what I want is a commitment from about 10 to 12 or 15 people that would just agree to do that, to do a 10-minute visualization meditation that I will record and send to you. So I'm not sure how to round you all up. If you want to be part of that, send me an email, AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. So anywhere from 10 to 15 people that agree to do a 10-minute meditation where we visualize this administration, this criminal administration, gone. Would you? Okay, so send an email so I can have your info to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. Okay, can you do that? Yeah, and I'll figure out the logistics. Yeah, I'll figure out the logistics. So 10 to 15 people is all we need. And Warren already sent it. You guys are putting up all the tribute bands that you like. And send good vibes. I'm going to send my 2 pro-democracy songs to the Dropkick Murphys. I want them to do my songs at the next rally. Great. Excellent. Yeah. Kalani, you in on that? So we can have a real concentrated group. And you have to do it every day until they're ousted. Oh my goodness, it's a big clump. Which planet is that? Mars? Wow. No. Hang on, I just have to see what... That's not Mars. That's Venus. There's a ton of energy in the Venus portion of the cup here. Alright, so I see that looks like a giraffe head. This looks like a deer on its hind legs, but it has wings. So what I'm seeing here, a giraffe has to do with sticking your neck out, and this looks like a dragon or a ram. This looks like a ram here with wings. So we're going to see an accelerated amount of movement with this Venus energy that's going on right now. Looks like Woody on his horse. And that looks like a hat. That looks like a bell and a hat. That's a bird. See that bird flying? I'm getting a little bit of a sense of, I actually think the deportees, we're going to have movement on that. I feel like, well, that looks like a duck with a hat on. That's interesting. And that's a mound. And that looks like somebody praying with a funny hat on. And that looks a little bit like a bat. So we're going to see a lot of movement here with the Venus energy. People sticking their necks out. And just, we're going to see forward movement on things in a big way. And I do sense from this that we're going to see some good news with the deportees. So, it's really challenging to cram all this into an hour, but that's why I'm doing the pop-ups now. To book a session, psychic.AnnetteDion.com. Tons of winning energy, right? Send me an email if you want to be part of that group, that concentrated group. Send it to AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. So I can just let you know, correspond with how I'm going to do that. Watch Church of Spirituality from yesterday is a great message. Off the Ledge is daily, and I have an astrology forecast for the day on Off the Ledge. I'll be doing pop-ups probably daily too, moving forward, especially when we're in this total mess here. And that's all I can think of. $100 off a spiritual life coaching package. We're going to be okay, everybody. We really are. As long as we hang together, we will be. All right? We'll see you soon. I know that Midas Touch is on, and some people like to go watch that, so that, you know, they've been doing good lately. I think they're up to almost 5 million subscribers. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you soon. Namaste. See ya.